Good evening and welcome back to Open Line. Our guest tonight is Kevin Kennedy. We're doing our special segment we do on the fourth Thursday called Ask a Lawyer. For those of you that have been waiting through the break to ask Kevin a question, we're going to get to your phone calls right now. I believe on line 3 we have Jay. Are you there, Jay?
Yes, I am. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir. What's your question for Mr. Kennedy?
I got a question, Mr. Kennedy, about fraud. I know you've dealt with that.
Right.
My family has a farm, and we go down there on weekends and work, etc. And I grew up down there, but we had some work done, and I went down there one weekend to take after I got done working, I was taking a shower to go meet my girlfriend. We was going out that night, but I left one of my credit cards there, which was my bank card, and we was having some work done by a guy who we well respect, good friend of ours, and one of his workers had stolen my card.
Oh boy!
And used it. Luckily, this girl we know, she was alert. He went to the store and bought some things, and she noticed my name was on it, and she immediately called authorities. They arrested him or whatever. But do I need to get a lawyer through all this, or is that something the authorities take care of? I know my bank is insured through all this, and I just wonder what your thoughts were. Thanks.
Okay, the first thing is, yes, you can notify the bank, notify the credit card company. They should make this a fraud alert and not put those charges on your card. However, if they chose to no, we're going to charge you with that, get you a lawyer immediately. Great question. Like to tell the audience on the broadcast, you know, there are all kinds of little insurance policies for fraud. Most people don't have them. It's kind of like an auto policy or a homeowner's policy. You really ought to consider doing. Because what's everybody going to say? The first thing they say, Nick, hey, somebody stole my wallet. That's not my bill. And it's right. Mass chaos, because everybody's going to say that. So you have to protect them all the time. I do recommend entertain one of those insurance. I just got an insurance policy within the last year. But I see and deal with lots of people. Fraud is the biggest ripoff in the nation.
That's right.
So you know the odds are if you live long enough, someone's going to hack in or get something or attempt to do something. The early bird gets the worm. Take a proactive approach. Try to protect yourself the best you can. Keep your numbers also at a secure place. If someone got your car, what else we have? We had an individual that was in Las Vegas, hid his cards, boom, locked him down. What could he do? So have some contingency plans in effect.
Great question, Jay. All right, I believe on line 4 is Jerry. Are you with us, Jerry?
Hello?
Hello,
yeah.
Jerry. Go ahead.
This is Gary.
I'm sorry. Gary, go ahead, Gary.
Question, yes, I'm a native of Clarksville, and I have a question about, I know he specializes, Mr. Kennedy, in criminal matters, but I also understand that in disability matters also?
Yes, go right ahead.
Yes, I'm a disabled, decorated American Air Force veteran from Clarksville, also Army rat, and I want to know, I'm trying to file my disability. I was denied once before. I mean, what are the next steps I need to take to claim my disability?
Well, on the disabilities, whether it's a veterans benefit disability or whether it's a Social Security, you know, these are extremely valuable assets to those people that fall in your category. And I want to say, we salute you, sir. Thank you for your service. And there's a special place for you guys, and I never want to see any of these guys abused or misused.
That's right.
And so one of the things that I always tell everyone, if you make your application, just because they say no, the world is full of no's. That's why we've got so many lawyers, and so many people just shut up and say, well, that's it, I applied, they denied me. No, no, no. You have to advance your calls. I hope you're listening to me tonight. Everyone is going to have to advance their own calls. If you don't, your calls will die. If someone runs over your fence, you say, well, I'm waiting for somebody to fix it. You got to get up and make a claim. And if the claim is denied, we need to appeal it. If you say, I really don't know how to do the forms, I don't know what to do, get some help. Go to a lawyer. So I absolutely say go to a lawyer. The Social Security, the latest statistics that come out, they're denying far more than they're approving. But as you go up the chain, that's when you get different. Same thing on tax appraisals on these real estate. I said, you know, they're all the time saying, no, this is it, we're going to stand. But if you go up 1 level or 2 levels, you always are getting relief.
And is it true that most of the Social Security disability claims, the first attempts are denied?
Absolutely. It's part of the process.
That's right.
And they know, and it's kind of like insurance companies. We had a big multi-million-dollar case 15 years ago, lots of victims, maybe 200 victims. Only 150 people even made a claim, and there was a $350 million pool to draw. So what happened to the other 50 victims? Whatever reason, their families didn't want to pursue it, or they didn't know how to pursue it, or there was negligence, they sat on their rights. So again, that's the message from this broadcast. Advance your cause. And if you've got a family member and they don't want to, try to help them. Say, I know you're wore out, but let me help you, and it'll benefit the family.
Great question, Gary. All right, on line 5, we have Millie. Are you with us, Millie?
Yes.
What's your question?
I came here from Illinois in 2011, and we came and lived with a relative. The relative told us to get out, so we went to a homeless shelter, downtown Lighthouse. We stayed there a couple of months. Then we went back to Illinois. When I got back to Illinois, my daughter applied for disability. She got the disability. We went apartment hunting. We found an apartment, and we did everything that you're supposed to do. Come to find out, someone had stole my Social Security number and told the interviewer not to tell me. I guess they were supposed to kiss my hand in the cookie jar, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I called the FTC, and they told me to make a police report. I did that. We went to put stuff in the storage. Here they come to the storage. I don't know how they found out that I had storage. They told the people up front not to tell me anything. My question to you is, how do I go after these people with no paper trail?
Well, it's really difficult, and that's why you make a police report, and that's why you pay taxes, because the policemen have detectives that are trained in those areas. They have resources to try to hunt these people down, try to charge them, put them in jail. They'll have to make a bond and have to appear in front of the court. And that's the best case scenario, where you are in a situation where you have very limited resources to advance your cause. You know, if you had resources and they had taken enough, you could hire a private lawyer, get a private eye. They would hunt them down, do a people search. We can find them, and then sue them and get a judgment. If they had real estate, we'd put a lien on their real estate and try to collect your money that way. But in this kind of situation, the only thing you can do is just keep pushing the police and try to work with the detectives.
Thanks for your question, Millie. All right. On line 6, we have Steve. Are you there, Steve?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Steve.
Hey, Mr. Kennedy, I was calling in this may be something you have no control over. Hell, I don't think anybody does, but I'm trying to get my life back, okay?
Okay.
So I called, I went to the DMV last Monday. I got my learner's permit at 61 years old after losing my license almost 6 years ago. And I have to wait until October to take a driving test, because you have to now make an appointment to get a driving test. And it's like, well, I was eligible December of last year to get my license back. And it's that period of time that I don't understand why it takes this long to get your license back. And I don't know if there's a legal issue there, or it's just our tax dollars just not getting things done, because it seems weird to me that they only have available people to give you the driving skills test part of it for months.
Well, that is ridiculous. You and I both agree, how is an individual going to have your license? Everyone wants to obey the law. Everyone wants to pay their fine or pay their fee, get their license, and drive legally. So this is a major glitch in the system, and what can you do? You can call the Tennessee Department of Transportation. You can file a formal complaint. You could file a formal complaint with your state representative and let him make a phone call. That's why we have elected people to go forward. And you always need to have someone who will listen to the people. You know, if you get a voicemail and you never get it, then all you're doing, that's not the guy that we need to have in those positions. Voice those concerns, and they can call and go from the Commissioner of the Department of Safety down and say, this is ridiculous, you can't do this, they're coming in here. And what you have, that's a policy, that's the state's policy to handle things this way, and then there's a law. And so I would certainly challenge that procedure and say, y'all need to do something different, and just work my way up some supervisors. We say it all the time, the squeaky door gets the oil. Somebody who keeps pursuing it always comes out ahead of the others who just do not try.
You know, one thing that we see in Davidson County quite a bit, and I'm not sure if it's the same in Montgomery, but is that, you know, if you're caught driving without a license, if your license is suspended because of DUIs, if it's suspended for tickets or something like that, that we have these huge amount of court costs, and these things start to mount, and they get to be, you know, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, and people are not able to pay that and actually get their driver's license back. So, you know, we have kind of a slow pay program here. What do they have in Montgomery County?
And you know, you hear clients come in and say, Kevin, this is nothing but a money machine. And of course, the state has to pay police officers and court officers, and so I understand the theory, but yes, it gets completely out of hand. And some people say, well, you know, I'm going to just drive. That's too much risk. If you're driving without your license, they can take you to jail, and then they could revoke your license for a year driving on a revoked license. And then, of course, you've got the bond to pay. You got a lawyer. Don't try to go in there and represent yourself. Do not. Take the money, take whatever you got to do, get your lawyer, and get out of this trouble. Get back on track, and then when your license comes due, go do it. Other thing is, we have girls in my office get a speeding ticket and they forget, well, they've revoked your license. And then, you know, when it comes down, they say, well, I'd forgotten, I didn't pay that speeding ticket. Well, that's what happens, and then it mushrooms.
That's exactly right. If you're holding on the phone lines, we'll take a break and we'll get right back with your calls. We also have some lines open, 737 plus 737-7587. We'll be right back after this break. Stay tuned.